Hey boys, we're here. So, Jibber Jabber, what I think about Warhammer 3. So how many hours so far? It's been what, 8, 11, nearly 3 weeks since the game got released. We got 196 hours. We're taking our time, nice and slow, savoring things. And got the prologue done. 134 turns of Seduce Nesh. This has achieved the normal victory, which is the Forge of Souls victory. And we got the Ice Court campaign in progress. So, what I think about Warhammer 3? Coming from Warhammer 1 and Warhammer 2, that we played for nearly 10,000 hours, of which nearly 7,000 hours in Warhammer 2. Most of it in Mortal Empires. I found it very refreshing. I welcome all the novelty and new stuff, so most part enjoyable. We're gonna talk about the good things first. All the new stuff, like the campaign, like the visuals on the campaign, it was the way they changed it. I'm not sure where it comes from. Maybe they created something new. Maybe it's coming from Three Kingdoms. Maybe it's coming from Troy. I haven't played those two games, but I like the change on the campaign map. The map feels like a little bit livelier, and we got also more impressive visuals. The music in general, the sound, the voice actors, it's like probably the best thing about Warhammer 3. But it's always been the best part of the game, the soundtracks and the voice acting. It brings very good to the overall atmosphere. The prologue was good, gets you into the game, and continuing further into the game, which kind of creates a narrative experience, which is the campaign of Realm of the Souls, filled with all these new factions and visuals. And I think they made a great job with all these new factions. They feel like, it feels like a new game regarding that part. The visuals and the new factions. With the Realm of Souls campaign, so somebody who played Mortal Empires for the last 4 years, I was been telling people to brace themselves because, we are getting from, sandbox experience to again into the Vortex type campaign. I was not a fan of Eye of the Vortex due to Mortal Empires kind of spoiling it for me. And it's not even just the Vortex fault, I'm a little bit biased in this regard because the Eye of the Vortex does not have the Empire, it doesn't have the Vampire Counts, doesn't have the Real Wars. It just, parts of the new map just made bigger. And it felt like a lot of it is just, made bigger just, for sake of that campaign. They're trying to make it something more than a mini campaign, and I didn't really like that. So maybe not a little bit fair in that regard, but initial few campaigns until the Mortal Emperors arrived, I think it was fine. But once the Mortal Emperors arrived and I seen what they've been doing, the fact that the Eye of the Vortex got more effort and more work done in Mortal Empires, it's kind of made me start hating more the Eye of the Vortex. So I wished all those resources would have been put rather towards a bigger campaign, which was the Mortal Empires. So I don't like Vortex, and I feel like I could never really put myself to play it again after Mortal Empires. But all these heroes of Mortal Empires, and now we get Warhammer 3, like a brand new game. I got into it, thinking it's a mini campaign. It's a mini campaign. It's not Mortal Empires. And for a campaign, what is it called? The Realm of Chaos. For a mini campaign, it seems good. It's not perfect, nice 7 out of 10 experience so far. I don't really mind going for the souls. I don't mind the fact the game is taking on a massive land and with the rift system. And for a mini campaign, I think they did okay. They did a lot of narrative stuff, and it just connects the prologue. I don't really like this direction of Total War with the narrative and the prologue. I would like to, you know, see just a big world map with a sandbox experience. I want the effort put there, not in stuff like this. But you know, they need to create another game and not just an expansion to the Mortal Empires. Was definitely very interesting and somewhat exciting to see this thing. But you know, I feel like once you see it, some of the magic is gone, and the mystery a little bit disappears, which then leaves you, you know, trying other factions and see, you know, what they're about, which kind of like more suits the sandbox element and not really, you know, things from their perspective. Some with rather feels forced just to go with the whole agenda of the Realm of Chaos. I can totally see people don't really liking things disrupting their campaign and not allowing them to have a little bit more breathing room and decide to play at their own pace. So this is definitely mixed feelings. Closer to mixed feelings than, you know, being something good, but you know, I liked it. I liked it so far. There's other things that you know, worsen the experience more than anything. So keep in mind, guys, it's a mini campaign. This is not Mortal Empires. This is not Immortal Empire. So I strongly believe the best is yet to come. Might be copium. Might be me just being hopeful. Who knows? So, yeah, bettings really. There's a lot, really. There's a lot, and I could talk about 20 things, but this will tell you everything, guys. Once the novelty wore off and we started seeing, you know, things more in depth, because we, you know, started the game here, not just played. There's a lot of issues, and I would say like I said a few days ago, the top 3 issues. I'm not gonna go everything in depth, but you know, there's a great book of bugs on my channel, !Gbob, which gives you a link to past them in. So Gbob, we encountered about 18 bugs, 28 issues, oversized features, kappa, and some quality of life that had been missed. And so there's been like 50 entries in the Great Book of Bugs, playing the game just for 200 hours with 2 factions. So there's probably a lot more. Other than that, top 3 issues that I can tell you. Issue number 1 is the auto-resolve. They again went with the auto-resolve that is, you know, totally arbitrary. It's either extreme left or extreme right. What happened to the middle? This company needs to find more middle. CA, where is the middle? The example of the worst auto-resolve in the series, Total War Rome 2. And the auto-resolve been changing over the years in Warhammer 1, Warhammer 2. And now again, we are back to auto-resolve being an issue. For it looks like they attach it to the difficulty. And the higher the difficulty, the more punishing auto-resolve is. And that's fair. That's fair. But you can't be that extreme with the auto-resolve. There should be a criteria depending on the enemy army size to either give you worse or better result in auto-resolve. I don't think that's rocket science, guys. I think that this is a pretty simple solution. If the enemy army is damaged or smaller, you should receive under 10% base casualties. If the enemy army is really big, and there's lots of them, and they're health, and they're ready to fight for a big battle, there should never be an out result that's one side in your favor, like a heroic victory, a decisive victory, or close victory, anything that shows low casualties. So you get to fight up a lot of tedious battles. In this campaign, I've been playing a lot, and I feel like about 10 hours of this campaign alone has been spent fighting tedious battles. Just because the system doesn't exist, that it's biased against the player on high difficulty. And you can't just attach just big chunk of the game to the difficulty. It's not difficult, you know. Somebody mentioned this to me, was as a comment from, I think, Reddit. It's like making auto-resolve part of difficulty is like keep having this the audio slider. You know, you don't have to control the audio slider, you know, so the game just, you know, goes crazy, and you have to be playing with annoying sounds instead of having, you know, a convenient and smooth and less tedious gameplay. For example, there's gonna be an army of 15 to 20 units, and the enemy can have 5-6 units. And what you get like sometimes close victory, even Pyrrhic victory, and get like medium to high casualties. And then you lose 2/3 of the army to a couple of units. On my machine, it takes 25 seconds to get into a battle and 25 seconds to get out of the battle. So these things add up, and then you have to do the battle as well. And sometimes you might just lose patience, and, you know, a couple of units cause you a headache and actually cause some casualties as well, because the amount of these battles you have to do. So I suggest, and I think this has to change, this must change, is if you auto-resolve against diminished forces, smaller forces, there should be some kind of thing in play, like some kind of check in the game, where you have like next to no casualties. And same the opposite, you know, the important battles, the bigger battles where you have numbers on both sides, units on both sides, higher tiers, not just the army of tier 3 crushing a number tier 1 army, they should be just decisive victories with low casualties. I'm talking about actual battles where both sides have nearly equal numbers or more numbers on one side with a large army of tier 2 or higher units. You know, shit need to make sense. There's so much time being invested in auto-resolve, and it's tedious. It's bloating the playtime of the campaign, and of course, you know, it's part of the difficulty. But whoever done it, fire that guy and bring out that guy who done the auto-resolve and balance of power after Tomb King's patch. So that's probably, in my opinion, the worst thing about Warhammer 3, the auto-resolve. One of the other things that's pretty bad, I haven't really experienced that much issues, the performance. I had to tune down performance. I have a pretty good computer. It's 4 years old now, but it's a high end, and some of these settings literally feel impossible to play. They cause such lags, it feels like the game gonna crash. And even with the settings lowered, we are getting poor FPS randomly, and especially on the campaign map. So the game has some performance issues which are unfortunate, no doubt leading to crashes on slower computers. Like I said, luckily I had only one crash so far, and it was a weird one. I clicked on one of the things in the Corn's realm and crashed the game. That was the only crash in nearly 200 hours. And I have to say, for a Total War card assembly game, that is very impressive. But I've heard stories of people literally having unplayable campaigns due to lag on the campaign map, crashes constantly, and even the boogeyman, save corruption. Save corruption, and what I've heard from is coming from the Realm of Souls, and when an autosave happens after the battle, which is the old save corruption from Rome 2, ruined a lot of my campaigns. I'm not sure why this is back, but considering the campaign map and the battle map and the whole visual and everything, it's a little bit changed for better or worse. And we might have had different visuals for better or worse. I think visuals are for the better. But regarding performance in both frame rate and units fighting, it has definitely gone for the worse. For the worse. It feels like the game needed more time in the oven. It was maybe rushed. Maybe it got delayed. It got delayed, but there's definitely something off. They're working on it, and who knows if it's gonna get any better. It has to, cause this is the future of the Warhammer series, right? The big trilogy comes together into one big game. So that pretty much the second worst thing in the performance. The third worst thing, and this is probably that makes me depressed the most. As somebody who has spent 7,000 hours playing Warhammer 2, this is depressing most. Gets to the point where, you know, I don't drink in my hand the whole time, so I just think about it. They have learned really nothing from Warhammer 1 and Warhammer 2, and the best parts of Warhammer 1 and Warhammer 2, the updates and DLCs. Literally nothing. They just thrown it all in the can and they just set it on fire, and yeah, we know better. Somebody up there, I don't know, guys, there's a guy in that company that doesn't have your best interest at heart, and it's gonna cause -20 public order on Reddit and all the forums everywhere until you get rid of these guys. So everything that has really been done, it feels like years of updating of Warhammer 2 is gone. It's like never happened. They haven't learned anything out of it. They haven't really taken anything out of it. And it's really bare bones if they've taken anything out of it. Little bare bones. It feels like the rush parts of the just old factions. They only care that all the new factions seem, you know, polished. But, you know, the things that the game has lost, you know, a lot of updates over the years. It's like they don't care about all those guys patching the Warhammer 2 for all those years. It's probably the most patched game, second most patched game after Rome 2. Rome 2 needed a lot of work, but what the hell? What is this trade system in the game? It is beyond lazy, beyond lazy. Where is all that good work that we had from Warhammer 1 into Warhammer 2? Where, in my opinion, the best trade system in the series of Total War games. And now we get into Warhammer 3. It's the same system, but worse. Technologies, a lot of it just uninspired filler crap. Literally, like I'm watching those Naruto episodes and nothing is even happening. Like, cut that shit out of the game, man. Just make some relevant technologies. We don't need like 50 technologies. If the game has to have 10 technologies or 15, don't give me 30 technologies and half of it's crap. So this could be a part of metagame, but guys, there's regular plebs complaining. It's like shit is boring. Boring and uninspiring. And most importantly, a lot of it don't make no sense. Not just with technologies, there's a lot of skills. A lot of skills. The battle skills have to make sense for the units. A lot of them don't make no sense. They have super fast units with high charge, stats overblown in one area. And then you go to the battle skills, they get more. Veteran battle skills, they get even more. Oh, look, what technology? More. Fucking hell, man. This skills and experience technologies are supposed to be filling the gaps on the units that these units are lacking. You know, let me improve this unit. I like the look of this unit. I want to improve it. Get it more attack, because it doesn't have good attack. It just relies on charge. Let me wait, you know, for the charges. It's like unarmored unit. Let's get a little bit more armor. Just make the unit a little bit stronger in the areas where they're behind. Don't let them make them crazy overkill in some of the areas. I swear, I might have been drunk, but I've seen one of the fast units in the game get 3 speed buffs. Like, what the hell? What the hell, man? That's like lazy. That's like pure laziness. The essence of laziness are some of these traits, skills, technologies. Very uninspired, and it's a little making me depressed. Everything that's been improved over the years in the previous games is gone. Things that have been fixed, things that have been, just better, it's gone. Now we are back to the old shit, and the people again complaining because, you know, of course, even back in the day, you know, things were off. You know, why is there just 1, 2 good traits in the game and everything else is crap? It's like, it's crazy. The thing is, you know, I feel like if they just put a little bit effort into the traits, why not make a trait that levels with the character? You have rank 50 now in the game, and most of these traits are not even worth 1 skill point. What the hell is the point of it? Character traits should be defining why you build this character. This trait should grow with the character. The heroes also. Still, no battle traits for, you know, battle prowess, no followers either. It's like nothing has been learned from there. There's a really shit ton of stuff that is going to have to be patched or forgotten. But you know, we got a new game that's been released, and it feels like we're in 2019. That's how it feels, guys. It's not 2022. This game feels like it's in 2019. Just, you know, all the new factions, the new stuff, you know, it's something else. But what makes the game great, what makes the game better, what makes the game replayable, you know, it feels like we went back 3 years. It does feel like there was no communication between the DLC teams and the patching teams. These guys did better job than whoever was doing stuff for the main stuff for Warhammer 1. Heck, even some of the Warhammer 2. And I don't know, it feels like these things should have been, you know, one of the first things for the base of the new game. So some of these things just, you know, bring out the worst stuff. There's a issue with the large units of the game and the mass and collision, which is kind of ironic because the last update for Warhammer 3 was supposed to be fixing this. You know, the last update on Warhammer 3, just if you ask me, just made things worse, made the infantry units sturdier. In this game, the collision, the mass, the charging is nothing short of broken. Units are causing so much knockback and knockdown that literally the charge does not exist in the game. Units are bracing from behind. Units start stopping dead on. Literally sending a unit of my demonettes into the infantry, I see them stop dead on. What the hell is the point of charge velos in the game? Where is the collision? The interaction of the charge between the large and the small entities is broken in the game right now. Broken. I don't use this word lightly, and it's broken. Some of these units are not missing as much as 2/3 of their damage. And you can clearly see when you send one unit, like a big one, into the infantry, they make impact. There's like this collision between these two units. 30 guys gets kicked, knocked back. Sometimes they die for fall damage, no collision damage, by the way. And the health bar, it does not move. I'm not talking about numbers not updating on the kills and the damage amount, which is also slower than Warhammer 2, which makes me think it's in a different, you know, different guys did this. But there's literally no damage from the charge or that collision bullshit they were doing at the end of Warhammer 2, which was just a bunch of PR bullshit to appease the YouTuber guy. So what I'm saying here, my unit gets in and there is no damage, but the unit is still charging. Imagine this, unit is still charging, but they're not moving. And for a short time, when they make contact, when all those guys get up, there is mega damage. Where the hell is the clash between the units? The sound, that clash that happens when two units hit each other, I don't think it exists in this game. I don't think it exists in this game, and it's one of the big issues as well. I don't feel that clashing of the units and they're killing each other. It looks like just numbers moving and the bars moving. Having no blood in the game, blood DLC makes things even worse. So it's just a bunch of numbers fighting, and with some really broken stuff. The mass is all over the place. It feels like sometimes the AI units have so much mass, it's like every unit is a Longbeard. Unless your unit has like ridiculous mass, it's really impossible to move through them. Like the ogres, for example, they just ignore everything. They might be surrounded, unless they're surrounded by the large entities, they just get through everything. There is something very off about the mass in this game. And this could be the problem with the charges and collision damage and all those knockbacks. I understand that knockback damage and collision damage has to be carefully tuned and balanced because, you know, multiplayer exists. Multiplayer, you know, dictates some of the fun in the game. And I am so sad that a game like Rome 2 historical game has sighted chariots. They don't even need to issue an attack order. Just goes through the enemy and the sighted blades just kill everything when used right. Elephants using their bodies as the weapon. We have this in a Rome 2 historical game, but we don't have this in a fantasy game because of some precious multiplayer community or something. Where the hell we are in the world where there are war mammoths, demons that have the legs and the hooves the size of battering rams, and they literally do 0 damage moving around the enemy. This is Warhammer world with all kinds of monsters and godlike beings, and they can use their bodies as a weapon. And when these things are running around and trying to sink into attack animation, and they're like sometimes 10 times their size, it looks horrible. Don't you care about the game looking good? These massive units should use their bodies as a weapon. So the chasing and all this animation syncing to do an attack, you know, doesn't make things make it look 3 times worse. They should be both knockback damage in the game, and a lot of these big things should use their body as a weapon. The charge does not work. This does not work in Warhammer series. It has never worked. We need knockback damage, or whatever you're gonna call it, collision damage. The charge values might work for infantry, it might work sometimes on the cavalry, but it just doesn't work as a thing in the Total War anymore. There has to be some kind of damage done by, you know, size. Damage from bigger units interacting with smaller units. And in this, for the first time, it's just completely off. Completely off. So this is, you know, kind of taking out the experience from the game. And, you know, it is what it is, guys. It is what it is. Where were we? So, yeah. Another bad thing, which, in my opinion, are the survival battles. I don't mind the Realm Souls campaign. Like I said, I don't mind rifts. I don't mind, you know, this being the main objective of the campaign. But the survival battles, it's like, I don't know. It feels like, you know, a nice thing to do once or twice, but it then feels like you've seen it before, and it feels like something doesn't fit in the game, if you ask me. Why is it that we are playing a legendary campaign, legendary difficulty, and we get in these survival battles and it feels like it's impossible to lose? It makes it tedious and boring. The fact you can auto-resolve this battle makes it even worse. I enter this battle, I get everything. It fucking turns me into a Teclis miracle worker. You build all these towers, all this barricade, get near infinite resources, healing, reinforcements. What the AI gets dick. Not even any experience to the troops. Gets units on half health, and it looks like some kind of shitty tower defense game. Shitty tower defense game. Don't get me wrong, in the settlement, those barricades, I think that it's good. The towers, my only complaint about towers is their big range. Some of the damage might be off, but that's easily balanced. The towers that look like grain silos for every faction, I'm kind of put off by this, but you know, I can get away. You know, I can give them a pass there. You know, I like this in the settlements, but it needs to be more balanced. But in the survival battles, it feels like you're just overpowered. We are playing on legendary difficulty, and it's just a stomp. 20-minute battles, 22-minute battles. I heard stories of people doing these battles for 40 minutes. What the fuck are you doing in that battle for 40 minutes, man? It's like, are you just AFK, making a coffee in the kitchen? These battles, it just feels like click, 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 click. Literally, my index finger hurts after every one of these battles. So you can't even really enjoy it or nothing. It's just coming after you. Towers, resources, can't lose. You know, when I first saw this, and they were making the chaos look bad, and now this is in the game, nothing really changed. I honestly feel they failed to tune this to the higher difficulty. I honestly feel they failed to tune this to higher difficulty. The problem is the people might not like this being more difficult because they don't like the Realm of Souls campaign. I think most people, 6 or 7 or 10 people, don't like this campaign. And it might be due to the rifts that they are forced to play, you know, in a certain way, or because they got used to 4 years of Mortal Empires. It's really bad. After 4 years of Mortal Empires, they have to go in a mini campaign that literally has next to no freedom. You either can do this or that and nothing else if you want to be part of the campaign. Of course, you can just ignore it and, you know, 7 turns later, go play another campaign. But I think, you know, creating a strategy game and a campaign that feels like the more you play, the less it's replayable, it's just a waste of resources. The problem is why I feel like people don't like this, because the fact you can fall behind, and let's say not even high difficulty. I've seen people lose campaign on normal difficulty. You get a defeat screen and that's it. Have fun next time. The thing is, you're unlocking these souls. Like, why do we want to go into the realm of souls? We want to go there so we don't get kicked on a defeat screen, and you know, the AI wins the campaign instead of us and prevents us of keep playing the game. Maybe at the point of the game we actually like to do like later in the game. I don't know, it's crazy. You know, some people like playing later in the game. I'm one of them. I don't see how people can just start campaigns all the time. So why not, when you get one of the souls, like you go into the realm of corn and you get a soul. This soul should be matter something for your faction. It should give you some kind of faction-wide bonus. 10% damage to the whole faction, whatever. Nurgle, 10% replenishment for the whole faction. Make the system actually meaningful and rewarding, and not just because the campaign tells you have to do it. And what's worse, it will force you into a defeat if you don't do it. When you unlock all of them, give you some kind of reward for the faction. Make the campaign, you know, more interesting later in the game with something, you know, unlocked that makes more sense for your faction. But not even that. You just basically have to do it because the campaign tells you you have to do it. So I feel like there need to be an incentive to do the souls without just, you know, thinking, oh, if I don't do it, I'll just lose. I can't finish this campaign. I mean, there's an option to domination, but domination is some intense shit. The fact that you have to plan the destruction of all other factions and not going for the souls, that's the real grinder. And this is in a game where you can't auto-resolve. Everything just mixed together into kind of like a pile of odd goo that is not really shit, but has not formed yet. And people complain about this. And I feel like a lot of people also complain because it's not Mortal Empires. It's just not fair in that regard either. But it's a goo that is forming into something. It's not shit, and it's not good. But it's still starting to stink. I got I got like what I said. I novelty. I was enjoying it, loving it, refreshing. I would easily give 9 out of 10 the first 100 hours for the novelty stuff, even with all this bad stuff. But once the novelty wore off, when those issues started to build up, and when you're starting to see the real problems, it's like, I know we didn't slash campaign here. I'll have to give it 6 out of 9, 6.9 out of 10. 6.9 out of 10. This is a work in progress. I've tagged my stream as a early access. Early access, kid you not, tag. Early access. We've always joked around how we are playing beta games, early access games with character assembly games. But for the first time, no joke, I'm feeling I'm playing an early access game. What the fuck were they doing with a delay, and what the fuck were they doing with early access people? Apparently they ignore all of their feedback. There's a drama about this going on, and I don't know. The worst thing regarding all this is not even the game for me, because luckily, like I said, I haven't experienced that many issues with performance and stability. But if I had a corrupted save at this point, I would be literally furious on a binge drinking. So maybe I've been lucky in not getting corruptions or more crashes, but we toned the settings down, decent computer, and I'm when I heard all this shit happening, I've been literally backing up save files every day. Every day, at the end of the day, backing up save files. And thinking I have to do this on Legendary is just it's an early access game. So if you like playing an early access game, and if you play too much Warhammer 2, go for it. Like I said, for me, it's refreshing. I played too much Warhammer 1, Warhammer 2, 10,000 hours. 10,000 hours. I don't mind playing this, seeing what's what, fill up the Great Book of Bugs. There's a lot more to come, and no doubt we're going to encounter a lot more issues. And I'm looking forward to see what the seed does with this, because they have a serious work ahead of them. Serious work. You guys have any questions or think if we missed something? Go ahead. Yeah, there's an issue with the whole the way they done the engine and the graphics in this one. I'm not sure where it comes from, but the units are less responsive. There's more rubber banding units going back and not listening to the orders, dropping orders. There's a lot of issues in battles that I hope they'll be fixed. This is far from Rome 2 issues, but it does feel like the game needs more time in that. How was the replenishment of Slanesh? Slanesh has no replenishment. Set bonus for items so far lacking. We mentioned these things. The items is just one of those many things. Guys, I would really like to. There's definitely a dark cloud that is formed over this game, and I would like to to minimize this shit on the stream. So make sure that people watch this video. And this dark cloud is just gonna make things worse. I would like to continue stream this game every day, but all this dark cloud is getting to the point where I'm just feeling tired, just hearing people complain. And who is to blame? I don't know who is to blame. God forbid, I might be enjoying the game and you guys are just here raining on me. So if this doesn't get toned down, I'm gonna start banning people. I heard the Legend has quit live streaming because he got tired of people complaining. So if you are not happy, just don't make somebody else day worse just because you're not happy. Will I play the other race? I will. I will. I read about the legend. Don't need to twist this. It's only getting twisted in every single forum. I know what happened there. August will make everyone happy. Well, since we're done with this Jibber Jabber thing, hopefully people are gonna be less ask questions. You know, it's like I'm just like it's bizarre. It's bizarre change between the Vortex and then the Realm of Souls, and now and the Mortal Empress in between. It's like, and like, what the fuck were the people expecting? I don't know. Why is the sky so big? I haven't seen sky, I don't know when, since in years. So, we've seen the Mandalor's review of Warhammer 2. Let's see the Mandalor's review of Warhammer 3. Haven't seen anybody's review. I just know that people are unhappy. There's a cloud coming over everything. That's just kind of ruining my experience, honestly. And I'm sick of it. I'm sick of these people complaining. Sponsored by Sega, Kappa.